Okay, so this job is done. Let's move on to the next project. That is part of our annual maintenance. Here's the old one that came out.
Oh, wow.
And the new one that goes in. This is why you want to do this once a year. So this is one of those genius ideas with Jeff. I learned this a long time ago.
Putting together tractors, you can always use tape.
Not exactly for the tractor. Is unscrew the cover here, and you see there's a coin cell battery in there. But most of the time I just keep it up right here on the jaw. So let's go ahead and get that done. Here we are again, underneath the rig. You're probably wondering, all right, Jeff, what the heck are you doing under the rig again? Well,
besides hiding from me.
Well, yeah, if you heard in the background, I'm hiding from Joe. Actually, Joe's going to be my assistant today. She's going to be my little Lamborghinis. They're going to run around here and get me all the things I need to get this job done quicker than it took last time. And what is that job? Well, that job is the annual greasing of my my suspension. So all these wet bolts are going to get cleaned off and get re-greased. And if you recall from the last time I did this video, and I'll put a little thing here of the last time of the video, we had to clean them all off and grease them up. It was about a year ago. It's time to do it again. They're a little squeaky right now, so I'm going to inspect everything and get going on this job. So currently, don't know if you can see this, but there's the wet bolts all the way down on the suspension. And from the last time I did these, it had nice clean grease on there. You see they're all dirty and grimy again. So we had to clean all these off, put the grease gun on here, fill them up again, and that will be good for another year, hopefully. But we're going to inspect the tires, the inside of the tires, the wheels, the brakes, everything while we're down here, just to make sure everything is okay. Okay, so just like last year, the same process. The difference is, well, not the difference. Look at that motorcycle go by. I had hoped this year I'd be a little thinner and it'd be an easier job, but I haven't lost any weight. I'm pretty much the same. So we're going to inchworm our way around the rig here.
More than 20 million years of evolution has not been kind to the unsightly Atlantic walrus. A blubbery body, long tusks and a whiskery moustache make these pinnipeds far from attractive.
But we have a few other projects we're going to be working on that we do annually, and we'll get to those right after this. I won't bore you with the details of greasing this. You'll understand the process. I'll put a little link here from the video I did last time, although this axle's covering my finger, but it's up here in the corner on how I did this last year and the process in doing so. So let's go ahead and get this job done. All right, everybody. As you see on down the line, everything has been cleaned and re-greased on both sides. Hopefully you can see that on the other side there. The camera I grabbed doesn't zoom. So if you can see that, great. If you can't see that, you'll have to take my word for it. Okay, guys. This job is done. I hopefully won't have to crawl underneath the rig anymore this season. Hope that's not too close. However, Joanne is begging me to redo the plumbing for the gray and black tanks so she can do some special things. So we'll see if she gets her wish, and I do that. She probably will. She always does get her way.
Yeah, like doing laundry. That's the special things I want to do.
I'm talking to them. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them.
I'm eavesdropping.
See, I can't escape, guys. Help! Somebody go take her shopping or something. Anyway.
Give me the credit card.
Okay, so this job is done. Let's move on to the next project. That is part of our annual maintenance. Because that's the theme of this video, annual maintenance. Okay, we're on the next project. So the next project, or annual maintenance project I should say, is the water heater. And that is to replace the anode rod, which you have to do and flush and clean this out once a year. I shouldn't say have to, but I would highly recommend it. I haven't read the owner's manual, I have to be honest, so I don't know how often they recommend doing it, but I do it once a year. And we're going to go ahead and do that. So the first thing you got to do is remove the panel to your water heater. So the first thing you do, as I mentioned, is you pull the cover off. Very simple. You just turn this thing and it just pops right off. And then down here, you see the on off switch. So we're going to turn it. I've already turned it off. And this is the rod we're going to be replacing right here. So we'll spin that off. We'll get the, I think it's a 3/4 or 11/16. I can't remember. I'll find the right socket and I'll tell you. And we'll spin that off. But first, before we do all of that, we've got to drain the hot water out of there. So what I did to make it easy is in our RV with Grand Design with the Nautilus system, I've got the water connection here. I've just turned on the hot water and whoops, sorry. So just turn on the hot water and I've got this little hose and I'll just spray it out and we'll get rid of most of the hot water. And I'll do that for a little while. You guys don't have to stand here and hold that or watch me do that. Alright, I interrupt this video. I humbly apologize. I thought the camera was recording and it wasn't when I took the old anode out of the water heater. So just gonna tell you that taking it out is simple, just lefty-loosey like everything else. And make sure when you do that though, you have to hit that little lever up on the top of the water heater just to release the pressure. If there's any air in there, to push that out so the water doesn't spray out at you. Water is gonna come out, but when it does, it just kind of trickles out as you're loosening it up. Now, as you know, I did not have the 1 1/16 socket with me, so I used the 1 1/8 socket and used the little electrical tape that you're going to see in a little trick here with Genius Ideas with Jeff, coming right up. Apologize for the interruption. Let's get right back to it. So, the size of the anode rod, which here's the new one, that actually is about a 1 1/16 or 27 millimeter. Both sizes I don't have. So I did a little trick with a 1 1/8 socket and was able to get that off. And all you do is just wrap a little electrical tape on there and thicken up that bolt. And it grabs it and comes right off without stripping anything. Alright, as I mentioned, here's the old one that came out, and the new one that goes in. This is why you want to do this once a year. This keeps all the calcium, hard water, and all this kind of stuff from going into your system through your faucets and everything else. So it did its job. We'll put the new one in here, put a little Teflon tape on there.
Looks like,
but as I mentioned, it's about a 27 millimeter or 1 1/16 size. And as you see, she's still draining out.
that looks like a bad ear of corn.
Right?
That's great. That's what it's supposed to look like?
That's what it's supposed to look like. So we'll let that hot water heater drain. So once that's done, you want to get yourself one of these. If you go on our Amazon store or on our website, I'll have the link below here. You can get one of these things, and we're going to flush it out. You just put this on a regular hose, and we'll see if this one leaks. And then when you turn the water on, you see water will come right out of that. We'll push that in there and flush it when it's ready. But she's still draining. That'll make it drain faster. Open the top, let air in. You're going to take this, we're going to squirt that in there and just kind of clean everything out. We're going to flush it. So let's turn the water on. It's not too bad. A couple of white chunks coming out.
Oh yeah.
And we're getting pretty clean water, would you say, Joe?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No chunks coming out. Okay, now we're going to put Teflon tape on the threads here. So just like anything else, it's lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, so you want the Teflon tape to end going in the direction to where it would tighten up righty-tighty. In order to do it the right way, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, you don't hold it in your right hand, you hold it in your left hand. Because you're spinning the tape the opposite direction. That way, I always know I'm going in the right direction. Okay, it's about 3 rotations on there. Pull the tape off. So now when I spin it on, I pulled it off that way, it won't unravel. If you put it on the opposite way, the tape will start to unravel. So just get it started. There we go. Now, as I mentioned, I don't have the right size socket. So we're going to cheat a little bit. And let me show you that. You cheat with a little electrical tape.
See, that's why I love tape.
So this is one of those genius ideas with Jeff. I learned this a long time ago.
Putting together tractors, you can always use tape.
Not exactly for the tractor. But I think some old timer showed it to me years ago and I was like, huh, that works. So you basically take off a piece and allow you to do about 3 rotations. And here it doesn't matter how you put it on, you just put it on there so you're wrapping the socket. There. Just making a few rotations. Basically what we're doing is we're making this nut or that we're going to put a socket on a little thicker than normal. Because the one I have is slightly bigger. Yeah, I hope that shows up. So, now I can grab my socket, which I have to get around Joe here. And we'll slide it on.
Don't hit me in the head.
And you see there's no play now. Now it goes nice and smooth.
Shut up.
See it's going on there? With a little. Because you don't want to strip that out. And when you're putting it on, you don't want to torque it down so hard that it doesn't come off. And you break it. So I'm going to, I think that should be good. It's on there tight. Yes. A quarter turn, whoops. And then, take that tape off.
Where?
Voila. But you see when it's on there, a lot of play without the tape. And we didn't want to strip that out. But see, it didn't harm anything. Went on nice and easy. So the test is going to become when we fill it up with water. So let's go back over here to the Nautilus system. We'll turn the water heater back on and we'll start to fill it up. Okay, so while the water heater is filling itself back up, we'll get on to another annual project, but it's a very simple one. And that includes these little coin cell batteries. And you probably ask, where the heck are we putting those? Once a year I replace these as well. And these go on the tire minder system. Okay, on our tire minder system, whoops, let me get back in here. System here, we have these little sensors on every single tire. And all you simply do is unscrew the cover here. And you see there's a coin cell battery in there. So all we're going to do is take that out and replace it. Now, I'm going to set the camera up so you can show me. I can show you how I do this because I need 2 hands for this. So stand by. So all you do is you slide the battery out. Just push it out. If I can get it out. And slide a new one in the exact same direction. Done. And then you put the cover back on. See how easy that is? So I'll do the rest of the tires, the other 5 wheels, and we'll get on to the next project. Alright, so I've replaced all the batteries and all the tire sensors for the tire minder system. And now we know we're good for another year. Now some of you may ask, how do you know or remember when you did that? Well, I actually put it in my calendar, and it reminds me every year when to replace that. So I've got a little reminder in my calendar. So I'm just going to put a year from today to go ahead and remind myself to do all that. So, but when I do all my annual stuff, I kind of schedule it, which is usually around the same time every year. I do all of these things. So let's go on to the next project. So one of the things I forgot to mention when you're refilling your water heater is you want to open the valve here to let all the air out, because it's going to be pushing air out of that heater. Once you have water coming out of the water heater, it's full. You can close this back up. Just push it back. Just like now. We're pushing the air out and getting a little water. There we go. No more air. And we'll shut that off. Okay, so now what we're going to do, just ensure everything's good. We're not dripping any water. And looks good, very dry. No water leaking out, no drops. Looks like we're good to go. Now you can turn the water heater back on. Just like that. And she will start to heat up. You probably want to give it 20-30 minutes to heat up before you can start using it. But that's all there is to it. Now we'll just place the cover back on and this project is done. Okay, one more thing that I'm doing on my annual maintenance is the hitch, or the receiver if you will, that's in the back of the truck. So you should always keep that grease, and seeing I had the grease gun out, I decided why don't I go ahead and finish this up. So you'll see on my hitch, this is it's a Ford hitch, but it's made by Reese. You see I've got one little Zerk fitting on there. I just cleaned that off the best I can. It's kind of down inside there. And we'll go ahead and grease that, and that basically greases everything, keeps it going back and forth, sideways, tilting, like all that. So we're going to do that, and then I also put a little grease, which is pretty much wiped out on the inside of this where the pin rides. So I'll just keep a little light coat of grease on there as well, and sometimes I put it up on the pin, but most of the time I just keep it out right here on the jaw. So let's go ahead and get that done. So we'll just pop the Zerk fitting in. There we go. And pump some grease down in there. Let's make sure we're all in. coming out here, so I'll just take this, rub it along. And that's all there is to it. And I'll just push that back in there. Keep the dirt and grime off that guy. Okay, that kind of wraps up our annual maintenance that we do. I shouldn't say that's everything. There are some things that we do. For example, I take the panels off underneath in the basement areas to inspect the pipes, plumbing, everything else, make sure there are no leaks that we are not catching. We're going to be doing that actually here soon because Joanne feels like we have a leak somewhere because there's a smell or an odor over on one side. So we're going to take the panels out and do that. And we'll go ahead and record that as well. But as far as maintenance is concerned, those are kind of the things that we do on an annual basis just to maintain. Again, the inspections, we're going to do a film on that. I inspect the roof, inspect all sorts of other things. And while you saw underneath the rig, I did inspect the tires, the brakes, and everything else while I was under there greasing. Inspected all the, that plastic membrane below, make sure there's no holes or tears in that and things like that. And all of that looked great. So we're good to go. Hopefully we won't have to crawl under there and inchworm again. At any rate, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, make comments, do all the things, hit the join buttons, all that stuff that we talk about here. We appreciate that you do that and make it a great bucket list day. Thanks. Bye.